You felt it, didn't you? The moment he started pulling away, right when things finally felt real. At first, he was there. He was texting first. He was asking about your day. He was making little plans like it actually mattered if he saw you again. He wasn't perfect, but he was present. Then something shifted right when it started to feel real. One day you send a normal message and it sits there. He used to answer in an hour. Now it's half a day. Or he replies with something flat like, haha, yeah, and nothing else. He still watches your stories. He still likes a photo, but he doesn't move toward you. And your brain starts doing that thing. Did I say too much last night? Was I too excited? Was I too available? Did I scare him? Was I too honest about wanting something real? Let me tell you what's happening in plain words. Men pull away when the moment arrives, where they'd have to show who they are, not just how they feel. Because falling for you sounds romantic, but it also scares the kind of man who wants you, without the weight of you. Before, he leaned in because it was easy. After, he leaned back because it started to cost him something. Effort, consistency, a decision. And the hard truth is this. If his feelings were real but his behavior changed, then his feelings were never the part you needed. His character was. He doesn't disappear all the way. That's the part that keeps you stuck. He just drops the temperature enough to make you doubt yourself. You'll notice it in the little things first. The good morning text stops. The how did it go? After your appointment is gone. You tell him something that matters to you and he answers with one short line, like he's checking a box. Then, later that night, he'll send something casual like, "What are you up to?" as if he didn't just ignore you for 10 hours. Plans start getting weird. He'll say, "We should do something this weekend," but he won't pick a day. If you pick a day, he says, "Let me see," and then you don't hear back until the day is almost over. Or he'll lock it in. Then suddenly, Friday afternoon, it becomes, "Work ran late," or "I'm exhausted," or "Something came up." And he acts like you're supposed to be easy about it. You are easy about it, at least on the outside. On the inside, you're staring at your phone thinking, he was excited 2 weeks ago. He was chasing 2 weeks ago. So why does it feel like I'm bothering him now? And here's the one that hits the hardest. When you pull back to match his distance, he pops up. You don't text for a day, and he sends a little breadcrumb. A meme, a "you okay?" A random song, something that keeps the connection alive without giving you anything solid. If you answer warmly, he cools off again. If you answer short, he comes closer. That is not confusion. That is control without responsibility. Because a man who is serious gets clearer when he likes you more. He doesn't get harder to reach. So the question isn't what happened. The question is why he starts doing this right when it's heading towards something real. He loved the early stage because it asked nothing real from him. You were warm. You were open. You were giving him the girlfriend version of you, while he was still living like a single man. Then the tone changed. Not because you did something wrong, but because the situation started asking more from him. When you two start talking more often, when you're seeing each other regularly, when you start relaxing into it, he can feel the next step coming. The "so what are we doing here?" step. The "are you dating other people?" step. The "can I count on you?" step. And that's where some men split in half. One side of him likes you. He likes the way you look at him. He likes the way you make him feel like a man. He likes the girlfriend energy without having to be a boyfriend. The other side of him hates being pinned down. Not because you're asking for marriage on day 10, not because you're demanding the moon, just because consistency means he can't hide anymore. If he stays close, he has to show effort when he's tired. He has to keep his word when something better comes up. He has to answer texts like an adult, not like a single guy killing time. So he does the lazy option. He pulls back just enough to keep his freedom, while keeping access to you. That's why he goes quiet after a great date. That's why he gets distant right after he opens up. That's why he acts warm when you're slipping away, and cold when you come back. He's not scared of you. He's scared of the standard your presence creates. Because once a woman sees what it feels like to be treated well, she starts noticing when she isn't. And that leads right into the part you've been blaming yourself for. I know what you started telling yourself the moment he pulled back. You told yourself you talked too much. You told yourself you were too warm, too open, too interested. You replayed that last night together like there's a hidden mistake in one of your sentences. And you start editing yourself. You wait longer to reply even though you saw the message. You type a normal response, then delete it and send something colder. You pretend you're busier than you are. You act like you don't care because you're trying to not scare him. But listen to me. A man who's right for you does not get scared when you're consistent. He gets calmer. A man who's serious doesn't punish you with distance when things are going well. He doesn't make you pay for being happy. So no, it's not that you were too much. You were just present with a man who only knows how to show up when it's easy. And that difference matters. Because your honesty didn't break this. Your interest didn't break this. Your feelings didn't break this. His limits did. His need to keep one foot out did. His comfort with giving you just enough did. You could be quieter, cooler, more chill, and he would still do it. Because the problem isn't your tone. The problem is what closeness demands from him. That's why this feels so personal. But it isn't. It's not about your value. It's about his ability. And once you really accept that, you'll see why this kind of man gets under your skin so deeply. The reason it hooks you is because he doesn't hurt you in one clean moment. If he was straight up rude, you'd be done. If he said, "I don't want this," you'd cry, you'd be angry, and then you'd move on. But he doesn't do that. He gives you just enough to keep your hope alive. He'll go quiet for a day, then come back with, "Sorry, crazy day." You answer, trying to be normal, and he suddenly gets sweet again. He'll call you one night and talk like nothing's wrong. He'll say something soft like, "I miss you." And right there your chest relaxes because you think, "Okay, we're back." Then the next day you barely hear from him, and you start chasing the good version of him. You start thinking about what you did when he was warm. You start trying to recreate it. You start offering him the easiest version of you. Less needs, less questions, less honesty, more patience, more understanding, more silence. And it changes your daily life. You glance at your phone while you're working. You keep it face up on the table. You feel a little hit of relief when his name shows up, and you feel a drop in your stomach when it doesn't. You tell yourself you're not waiting, but you are. You go to bed thinking, maybe tomorrow he'll be normal again. The problem is that push and pull feels like progress, because every time he comes back, it feels like you earned it. But you didn't earn it. He just came back because he felt you slipping. That's why you stay longer than you should. That's why you explain things to him that a grown man shouldn't need explained. That's why you accept, "I've been busy," even when you know he had time to post, time to scroll, time to be everywhere except with you. And after a while, you start thinking, this is just how dating is. It isn't. This is a pattern, and if you've lived it before, you already know where it goes. This is the part you don't want to admit, because it makes the whole thing feel less special. But this isn't a one-time he got stressed situation. This is a script. It starts the same way every time. A man comes in strong. He's curious. He's consistent. He makes you feel chosen. Then, the moment you relax and start trusting it, he changes. He answers slower. He gets vague. He gets busy. He starts acting like your expectations are the problem, even when your expectations are basic. And you start doing the same thing you've done before. You become the woman who waits, the woman who understands, the woman who makes it easy for him to keep showing up halfway, the woman who carries the emotional weight so he doesn't have to. That's why it repeats with different faces, different job, different city, different style of texting. Same feeling in your stomach when you look at your phone. Same conversation in your head at night. Same cycle of you getting a little peace when he's warm, then losing it when he cools off. You'll even notice how fast it happens. 2 good weeks, and then the first weird silence. A great date, and then he disappears the next day. A deep talk, and then suddenly he's not sure what he wants. It's like closeness triggers him to back up and reset the distance. Because the point was never to build something. The point was to enjoy you while keeping the exit open. And if you don't see it as a pattern, you'll keep treating it like an exception. You'll keep thinking, maybe this man is different if I just handle it better. But handling it better usually means you shrinking. And once you've shrunk enough, you'll start calling disrespect normal. That's why the next thing matters. Not his words, not his potential. The red flags he's already showing you. The red flags aren't mysterious. They're just easy to excuse when you want him. A man who's falling for you doesn't make you feel like you have to audition for his attention. He doesn't leave you staring at your phone like you're waiting for permission to feel secure. You'll see it when you ask a simple question, and he treats it like pressure. You'll say, "Are we still on for Friday?" And he answers hours later with, "Yeah, I think so," like you asked him to sign a contract. You'll say, "I missed you," and he dodges it with a joke. Not because he's playful, because he doesn't want to match your energy. You'll see it in how he keeps everything loose. He talks about hanging out instead of making plans. He shows up when it suits him. He disappears when it doesn't. He'll text late at night when he's alone, but he's hard to reach during the day when real life is happening. And if you bring up the gap, he acts like you're being dramatic. You'll see it in the way he reacts when you stop carrying it. You don't text first for a couple days and suddenly he's alive again. He hits you with, "Hey stranger," like you were the one who went quiet. He'll toss out a quick invite last minute like, "Come over," or "What are you doing right now?" And if you can't, he doesn't offer another time. He just fades again. That's not a man building something. That's a man keeping a door open. And the biggest red flag is how you feel around him. You don't feel steady. You feel watchful. You feel like one wrong move will make him pull away. You feel like you're trying to be the right kind of woman so he stays. That's not romance. That's you negotiating for basic respect. Because when a man is serious, you don't have to decode him. You don't have to guess. You don't have to lower yourself to keep him close. And that leads to the only part you can actually control here. Not him. You. You can't talk a man into consistency. You can't love a man into choosing you. And you definitely can't be patient long enough to turn mixed signals into a real relationship. So what has to change is quiet, but it's firm. You stop rewarding distance with more access. When he goes cold for a day or two and then pops up like nothing happened, you don't rush to give him warmth just because you missed him. You don't give him the girlfriend version of you when he's offering you the stranger version of him. When he says, "We should hang out," and won't set a day, You don't keep the conversation alive hoping he'll land it. You let it sit where he left it. Because vague is a choice. I'll let you know is a choice. Maybe is a choice. When he tries the last-minute invite, the come-over text at 10:30, the random "you up?" After being absent, you don't pretend that's effort. You don't treat crumbs like a meal just because they came from him. And the hardest one, you stop explaining basic respect. You stop saying, "I just want communication," like you're asking for something special. A man who cares doesn't need a lesson on replying, keeping plans, or checking in when he disappears. If he wanted to, he would. If he valued you, he would protect the connection instead of testing how little he can do and still keep you. This isn't about you becoming cold. It's about you becoming clear. Your standard becomes simple. If he's consistent, you're open. If he's inconsistent, you're unavailable. Not angry, not dramatic, just unavailable. Because the only way this pattern ends is when you stop participating in it. And once you do that, you'll see the two paths in front of you, plain as day. Here's where it gets simple, even if it doesn't feel easy. If he's pulling away right when he starts falling, it means one thing. He likes the feeling, but he doesn't want the responsibility that comes with it. So you have two paths. One path is you keep doing what you've been doing. You keep giving him softness when he gives you silence. You keep accepting vague plans, late replies, and sudden reappearing like it's normal. You keep waking up to that same tight feeling, checking your phone, trying to guess what version of him you're getting today. And months from now, you'll be more tired, more guarded, and more angry with yourself than you are with him. The other path is you step out of the hot-cold game, not with speeches, not with threats, not with long messages trying to get him to understand. You just stop giving relationship access to a man who won't show relationship behavior. You stop being the easy place he visits when he's lonely. You stop being the woman who waits while he decides if he's in the mood to act right. Because this is the knife truth. A man who is truly falling for you does not make you feel unsafe in your own life. He makes you feel steady. If he can't do that, then the cost of staying isn't just time. It's your dignity. It's your peace. It's the way you start doubting your own instincts. And you already know what it feels like to be with a man who keeps you guessing. It steals your peace in small ways. It makes simple days feel heavy. It turns you into someone who's always checking, always waiting, always trying to get it right. You don't need another season of that. You don't need to fight him for clarity. You don't need to chase a man into choosing you. You just need one quiet line inside yourself. If he wants you, he'll make it easy to feel that. If he doesn't, you don't punish him. You don't beg. You don't perform. You simply stop meeting him halfway when he won't even meet you with respect. And something quiet starts happening inside you. The anxiety fades, the waiting fades, the constant checking fades. Because the moment you stop chasing clarity from someone who won't give it, your peace comes back.